Oh, thank you. Thank you. Pi is the number you get when you divide the distance around a circle by the distance across it. That's what pi is. It's always approximately 3.14, no matter how big the circle is, whether it's a button, whether it's the moon, the sun, regardless. If you wrap a string around a pizza and measure it, then lay the string across the pizza, which is the diameter, it'll go across at about 3.14 times. It's the invisible ratio that makes circles work in wheels, in clocks, and even ripples in water. Pi, for those who don't know, is infinite, just like our body's potential. So maths isn't abstract, it's coded into our biology. And we'll explore that formula of health a little bit later. But I just need you to know that pi is the hidden rhythm of circular patterns in the body and life. It appears wherever curves, circles, and flow exist in your body, your breath, and biology. Just so that you know, heartbeat rhythms, the natural pulse, and wave patterns in your body often echo circular motions. A pulse cycle is a loop like a circle. All right. So just like you're walking, your stride, it forms arcs. The hips move in a rotating pattern, balanced like a pendulum. Pi is in that motion. Your eye structure, your iris is a near perfect circle. Pi lives there. Your DNA spiral, the double helix follows a spiral pattern, a form rooted in circular geometry. Your brain waves and your breath cycles, they rise, they peak, they fall, they rest. The flow is what? Circular. So in short, pi is the code of circular harmony. Wherever something curves, cycles, or spins, pi is at work, including in you. That being said, what if I told you that your symptoms aren't the problem? They're the signal. That behind every chronic condition, fatigue, anxiety, bloating, skin issues, burnout, there is a code. I know people hear me talk about the code and they might think, oh, what is this code? What is this code? But every illness has a code. And like any code, it can be cracked. Now, on the left, we see someone lost in the loop, living with symptoms, but not understanding them. And on the right, we see the shift, not just their body, but in their being. So our aim is simple, to reveal the hidden numbers behind illness. Your body keeps the score in case you don't know. Patterns in your stool, your sleep, your stress, your sugar, it's all data. But raw data means nothing unless it's decoded. So it's important we understand how data becomes diagnosis. Now, this is not a guessing game. It's about mapping, learning to read the logarithms of your own gut-brain connection, where every imbalance has a mathematical echo. Now, I say this to say, Love Biome empowers recovery, and we're going to share that today, but not just with products, but with insight, with tools that restore the balance, reseed the terrain, and reignite the body's blueprint for vitality. So our aim here at Love Biome isn't to treat symptoms, it's to awaken intelligence, the kind that already lives in you. We just don't realize how intelligent our bodies are. So here's the wake up call. Who are you? Who are you? Not your name, not your title, not the well-practiced bio you recite in interviews or plaster across platforms. I'm asking you about what's beneath the edits, beneath the strategy, beneath the supplements, beneath the mantras, beneath the endless Googling of symptoms at whatever wee hours in the morning. I want the you that flinches at silence, that's tired of managing, that's still wondering what's wrong with me. Now, this slide might look cute. A cat gazing into the mirror and seeing a lion. But what if that's not a metaphor? What if that's memory? Your body remembers what the world made you forget. You see, we've been taught to perform wellness, to smile through the signals, to mistrust the shiver in the gut, the ache in the chest, the fog in the mind. We've outsourced our intuition. Can you believe that? We've swallowed diagnosis without digestion, chased fixes instead of coherent balance. But your gut, your second brain, it's not broken. It's not crying for help. It's sending a map to something primal, rhythmic, untamed. So, to the you that's existed before the override button got installed, that's where the message is going to. That lion. It's not just a symbol of strength, it's your native state. When your microbiome is misfiring but harmonizing, but when your system isn't in war mode but in conversation. So before we go deeper, I just want you to pause for a moment. Not with judgment, not with reverence, but I want you to ask yourself this question. And I want you to go deep. I want you to ask this question from your marrow. Who am I when I stop performing and start listening? Who am I when I stop avoiding and start remembering? Because once you get to that point, that is where we begin. This is the listening moment, self-reflection. We're about to enter sacred ground here, the space between stimulus and reaction, the space where truth doesn't shout, it whispers. So I'm not asking you to do anything. No performance, no posturing, just be. So to sit gently and let your gaze soften or close your eyes entirely and let the noise fall away for a moment. Now I want you to take one slow breath in and even a slower breath out again. And let the world exhale from your shoulders. And into that quiet space, I want you to ask yourself, not with force, but with feeling. What messages has your body been trying to send you that you keep silencing? Where do your instincts live? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your chest? Is it in your spine? Or is it in your skin? And when was the last time your mind, your mood, and body were singing in the same key? Now, there's no rush and there's no perfect answer. It's just an invitation to return, to reattune. One more breath, not to change anything, just to witness. I say this to say I had a phone call this week from a friend who was in panic because she felt tinglings down one side of her face and she didn't know what was going on. And when she phoned the doctors, you know what they've said to her? They've said to her, it's something she's eaten and it's a reaction. From where I'm sitting, I don't see that. From where I'm sitting, to me, there's some minor stroke going on there. To me, because the numbers just don't add up. I say that to say that healing isn't something you fix, it's something you remember. It begins the moment you stop overriding and start listening. Now, I know many of us are stressed out and carrying all kinds of weight behind the mask, but healing is part of who we are. Our system has that in place, but it's just forgotten or it's got confused how to do it. So, that being said, and this is the deeper why, what are your health goals? And let's be honest, you've tried the hacks, the teas, the fasting, the powders with fancy names. You've reset, you've restarted, you've relapsed, and you've repeated. Monday came, Friday collapsed. The mirror asked questions you weren't ready to answer. But here's the miracle. Underneath all that effort, you're still here. You, the one who remembers how light you used to feel. You, the one who hasn't given up, even if you've slowed down. Yes, you, who still holds the blueprint of vitality in your bones. It's still there. This isn't about body image. This isn't about biological sovereignty. The end of war inside your own skin. Freedom from the brain. This is what it's about. Fog that makes mornings feel like molasses. Freedom from the inflammation that steals your fire. So when I say your why, I'm not talking the superficial one. I'm talking the sacred one. Because transformation doesn't begin with perfect plans. It begins with better questions. And maybe, just maybe, this is the moment when the questions start asking you. All right. So now you've heard the call, the quiet why inside your health, the deeper signal beneath the symptoms. But what if I told you that this whisper, this instinct, this longing is also has a pattern, that your pattern isn't just poetic, it's precise. When your gut microbiome was created, it was created with precision. So the one had to have created that. It couldn't have been a junior apprentice. It had to have been the one. So that being said, healing isn't just emotional, it's mathematical. You see, nature doesn't guess, it calculates from the spiral of your fingertips or your fingerprints to the rhythm of your breath. Your biology flows the same laws that governs the galaxies. So let me introduce you to a number that lives everywhere. In atoms, in oceans, in you. A number that holds the key to rhythm, relationship, and remembrance. That number doesn't just measure, it mirrors. And that number is pi. That number is pi. So what is pi? Pi is more than a symbol on a calculator, as I said. It's the code of balance, the ratio that defines a perfect circle. It's infinite, it never repeats, it cannot be contained, just like you. Pi shows up in the orbits of planets, in the rhythm of your heartbeat, and yes, even in the patterns of your pain. Because when the circle is broken, when your inner pi is off balance, the system sends signals, which is fatigue, inflammation, brain fog, disconnection. But when you bring body, mind, and gut into sync, pi reappears. Harmony is restored. You don't just feel better, you feel in tune. So today, we're not just talking about wellness. We're talking about mathematical memory and how pi lives inside your cells and how decoding it could change your life. Alrighty. So the root cause. You see, awareness alone isn't enough. True wellness, the kind that sustains, not just soothes, but it also asks a deeper question. And the deeper question is, what is the root cause? I mentioned a little bit earlier about a friend of mine who phoned, who got tinglings down the side of their face. And they contacted their doctor and they mentioned allergic reaction. Now, that suggests to me that all that's happening there is that the system that they believe is being treated. So they're giving you a diagnosis based on a symptom. They haven't gone to the root cause. And just like mathematics, when you have a problem, if you don't understand the problem, you're unable to get to the root cause. And then you answer it in a way that you have interpreted it to be and not what the actual question is asking. So what is the root cause? Well, behind every imbalance in the gut, in the mind, even in our emotions, lies a pattern, a signal, a system trying to speak. This shows you how technical we are as individuals. It's asking questions such as what triggered this inflammation? Why does anxiety spike after food? When did fatigue become familiar? Where is our resilience leaking? Where is it leaking? Who are we becoming by default? How do we return to balance? Not through suppression, but through understanding. Well, in Love Biome, we don't guess. We investigate. Every symptom is a clue, as I mentioned. Every imbalance is an equation. And the gut doesn't lie because the gut is mathematical. It logs, and those logs are written in the code of cause. Most of us don't live in the world as it is. We live in the world as we perceive it. And perception is not neutral. It's colored by inflammation, past trauma, microbiome signals, nutritional deficiencies, and stress loops coded into our biology. Don't take my word for it. If you apply your mind to anything that you believe you need to do, you will come up with an answer that suits you. But is that the correct answer? Is that the root cause? See, a gut out of balance doesn't just affect digestion, it distorts vision. Suddenly, life feels heavier. People seem distant. Opportunities appear out of reach. This is the veil. A filter, excuse me, a filter cast not by reality, but by internal imbalance. I didn't know this. I was blown away when I started researching all of this stuff. because I'd never learnt this at school, never learnt it at any college or university. And to me, this is an absolute must. Now, mathematics teaches us that we measure changes based on our frame of reference. I'm going to pause there for a moment. Mathematics teaches us that we measure changes based on our frame of reference. Depending on where we are mentally, determines how we assess things, so to speak. And that's so too with perception. When your gut is inflamed, your brain is primed for fear, for fog, for fatigue. So we must learn to ask, is this thought true? Or is it the echo of a dysregulated system? If your system is in balance, those signals that travel through the vagus nerve to the brain, and the brain can only understand signals because it acts on signals, suggests to me that if your gut is in balance, then the wrong signals are being sent to the brain. And if the brain only acts on signals, then you can understand why you will view things not in the way that they are really. That being said, I want to take a deeper dive down a rabbit hole because we've understand the gut-brain connection, so to speak, with regards to how the signal travels and how the brain interprets it. So let's dive deeper. Diabetes, the leading disability worldwide. Again, I did not know this. I did not know this. And depression isn't a flaw. It's a signal, a system-wide cry for coherence. Because if the brain only functions off of signals, then where is that signal coming from? The World Health Organization now realizes that depression as the leading cause of disability globally. And yet most interventions treat only the surface, while the microbiome, the immune system, and the gut-brain connection remain unaddressed. Now, this isn't just about mood, family. It's about metabolism, about microbiome metabolism that either nourish serotonin or disrupts it, about the inflammation that muffles motivation, about gut bacteria that can either activate joy or suppress it. So depression isn't weakness. It's the body asking for a new kind of leadership, one that listens, one that aligns, and one that remembers. So healing doesn't come from force. It comes from understanding the patterns and restoring the equation. And I say that to say it's important we understand that our health is not mystical. Our health is measurable. This is why I come from a maths perspective. If it was mystical, then I could understand why one would take certain types of medication for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years without any results and not ask any questions. But if you understood that your health is measurable, then you would be asking questions such as, well, how long does one have to take this for? What results am I supposed to see at the end of each period, etc., etc., etc. 970 million people live with mental health conditions globally. If every one of those minds lived in the same place, do you know they'd form the third largest continent on Earth? And that's a landmass of struggle, misunderstood signals, and biochemical imbalances. That's a lot of minds. Now, mathematically, this isn't a crisis. Mathematically, it's an epidemic of disconnection. Disconnection from what? From the root, from the gut, from coherence, from balance. So, what if the terrain of the mind is being mapped from the terrain of the gut? Because where there is disease, there is often a missing pattern, a broken equation. In mathematics, when you don't understand a question, when you don't understand a question, it becomes a problem. I'll say it again. When you do not understand a question in mathematics, and not only in mathematics, but in life, it becomes what? A problem. Why? Because there is often a missing pattern or a broken equation, something you do not fully understand. All right. Diabetes, sugar, signal and system overload. 1 in 10 adults globally has diabetes. This is where we do the maths, family. That's over 500. That's over 530 million people. Over 530 million people. Diabetes isn't just about sugar. It's about signal overload. A system bombarded with wrong codes for too long. The microbiome plays a crucial role in glucose regulation, insulin sensitivity, and the way cravings are interpreted. The gut doesn't just process food, it negotiates your body's energy economy. So when inflamed, when misfiring, or underfed, metabolic chaos follows. So the gut is not a passenger in diabetes, it's the co-pilot. Okay, moving on. Cholesterol, the body's messaging system, in case you didn't know. Cholesterol is not the villain, it's a messenger, and it's one that carries instructions, repairs, tissues, and support hormones. That's how technical our body is. When the system is inflamed, the messages become distorted. The microbiome influences lipid metabolism, inflammation, and even gene expression related to cholesterol transport. So, what we call a cholesterol issue is often a miscommunication downstream from the gut. So, if we fix the gut, what happens is we clarify the signal. Cancer, the rogue equation is what I call this one. Now, cancer is the multiplication of a message gone rogue. It's the multiplication of a message gone rogue. Because all of these illnesses are just signals being sent to tell us something. Just like in mathematics, you have a plus sign that suggests to you that you are supposed to add two numbers together. You have another sign, which is a subtraction, which suggests that you have to take one number from the other. And the same with multiplication, and the same with division, and all the other signs in mathematics. But if you don't understand these signs, what do you think is going to happen? So when I say the gut is the multiplication of a message gone rogue, it's a cell that's forgotten its code. The gut influences inflammation, immune surveillance, and anti-cancer nutrient metabolism. So microbes protect and some provoke. So cancer isn't chaos. What it is, it's a corrupted algorithm. It's a corrupted code, so to speak. And the gut, like a skilled mathematician, knows how to debug the code, but only if we let it. Only if we let it. And we'll go deeper down the rabbit hole at some point. Alrighty. Huh. Dementia. Now, this is the forgotten frequency. Did you know by 2050, over 150 million people will live with dementia? Not die, live with dementia. But again, memory loss often begins with a signal, not a seller. The microbiome modulates neurotransmitters, immune functions, and even the blood-brain barrier. Dementia isn't always the erasure of memory, it's the erosion of signal quality. So it goes back to the point I made that if you are unable to interpret what the sign is in mathematics, your answer's never going to be right. So in other words, static is replacing symphony. So to remember who we are, we must feed the microbes that remember how to balance us. I'll say that again. To remember who we are, we must feed the microbes that remember how to what? How to balance us. There are so many illnesses that I could go through, but we'd be here all day. But I'm sure you get the gist. All of them emanate or reside, depending on where you're sitting on the fence, in your gut microbiome. And your gut microbiome is the forgotten operating system. And your gut microbiome is not a machine. It's the operator of machines. It's a living, ancient, dynamic community of trillions co-creating neurochemistry, metabolisms, immunity, and mood. That's what it is. And I'm simplifying it. But here's the thing. If you ignore it and you chase symptoms in circles, if you nourish it, then you upgrade the entire system. So the microbiome isn't just important, it's foundational. It's the missing link in the equation of modern illness. Love Biome is not a supplement, it's a remembering tool, a return to the original design. And this is the equipment life encoded into us. It's time we learned to use it wisely. And when I say it's encrypted in us, we need to understand something. Just like you have a computer, and when you do something wrong, it comes up with an error message. That error message wasn't just created. That error message was designed and built into the system before you even bought the system. And it's there so that when you do a particular error, that particular message is already there. That's an algorithm. That's a program pre-created to direct you. So when I say Love Biome is not a supplement, it's a remembering tool. It allows us to return to the original design. It's a bit like the reset button. And this is the equipment life encoded into us. It's already encoded. It's just time we learned to use it wisely. Now, illness does not come upon us out of the blue. Now, this quote is from Hippocrates, the ancient Greek physician known as the father of medicine. Now, over 2,400 years ago, per se, it's understood, he understood what modern science is just beginning to prove at scale. All disease begins in the gut. Whatever tingling my friend is feeling in her face, didn't just come and join her. If all disease begins in the gut. Now, that's not a trendy statement. It's a timeless truth. Hippocrates believed the body has an innate intelligence to heal. Goes back to the codes that are already within us. And if we remove what harms it and nourish what supports it, what happens? You'll see the difference. You have to understand the gut is the second brain, so they say. The gut contains over 100 million neurons, more than the spinal cord. It produces 95% of your serotonin, a key mode chemical. uh, you are more microbe than human. Your body has 10 times more microbiome cells than human cells. And these microbes regulate immunity, metabolism, even cravings. 70% of your immune system lives in your gut, some say more. That's why gut health is the first line of defense. So if your gut is inflamed, your whole body is vulnerable. So the love biome difference is not new, it's ancient. I'll say it again. The love biome difference is not new, it's ancient. Hippocrates didn't wait for symptoms. He listened for signs. He didn't fight the body. He worked with it. That's what we do. Love biome doesn't start with what's broken. It begins with what's intelligent, the design already within you, your gut microbiome. So your gut microbiome is not an accessory. It is a foundational system of intelligence. We don't override it, we must support it. We don't throw supplements at the symptoms, we craft formulas to restore function. Now, in a world obsessed with control, Love Biome is a company obsessed with coherence, with balance, backed by research, powered by data, built on nature's mathematics. Because healing isn't a hack, it's a homecoming. What do I mean by that? In other words, your health isn't mystical, it's measurable. And at the center of this revolution stands P84, Love Biome's flagship formulation. 84 ingredients sourced from 6 continents, engineered over years of research, clinical validation, and system-level nutritional design. This isn't a product, it's a culmination, a formula designed not to treat symptoms, but to restore the environment where healing begins your gut terrain, so to speak. So P84 brings together polyphenols from ancient fruits and roots, prebiotics that selectively nourish beneficial flora, probiotics that reestablish microbiome balance, and plant-based fibers that regulates rhythm, flow, and resilience. Every ingredient, every ratio, every combination was selected not randomly, but mathematically, energetically, and biologically to speak to the original design of the human body. Now, I could go on and break down some of these not the formulas, ingredients, because when I share some of this stuff with people, they want to know the ingredients in the ingredients in the ingredients in the ingredients. And I get all of that. I really do get all of that. But generally, those who want to know that sort of information are not ready to make change. Because if you have something going on and it's causing an imbalance in you as an individual, you're looking for a solution. And if whatever you have tried hasn't worked, and this is presented in front of you, you can do all of the research that you want to. If you, I can't give you all of the information. That's why we have a number of different presentations. Some go deeper and talk about the ingredients in detail. My thing is very simple. I share with you what's tangible, what I believe you will understand. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nutritionist. So I can't go down the road of talking about specific ingredients such as all of the trillions of things in the microbiome and how they all operate and how they all function. Because as a maths person, for me, I'm not sure how that benefits me. Yes, I know it, then what do I do with it? But others it may, and we have platforms for those. On this particular platform, the aim really is to give you a understanding of the connection between your gut microbiome, your brain, and the maths involved that runs this system. And this product feeds the system. So you know it was designed mathematically. Because, and this is, you may as well say this is Hippocrates with a global supply chain and a precision lab. Ancient wisdom encoded in modern delivery. And what's the result? A stronger gut-brain axis, clearer metabolic feedback, improved resilience at the cellular level, and a system no longer fighting itself, but flowing. So P84 is not a fix. It's a foundation. This is the Love Biome Standard. Formulas that listen, ingredients that matter, and science that doesn't override nature but amplifies it. And before I go into the breakdown, I just want to pose a question, not for you to answer to me, but to yourself. I come across many people who are on medication for months, for years, but they can't tell you what's in the medication. And they're still taking it. What does that suggest? It suggests that one has been conditioned by those who profess to know, whether they be doctors, whether they be trained nutritionists, whatever. My point and the moral to this story is very, very simple. Health is not mystical. Health is measurable. Because if you have, for example, I don't know, a, a cough or a broken leg, and they've been diagnosed, whatever they give you as medication should have a turnaround time as to when you're going to get better. They generally put you in a plaster cast if you have a broken limb, and they give you some form of medication for pain or whatever else, and it's supposed to heal and so forth, etc., etc., etc. So if they say it's going to heal in 3 months, and 6 months down the road, 7 months down the road, 8th month down the road, it hasn't healed, and you're not asking any questions, you are just taking more supplements, taking more medication, then the problem is not the pharmaceuticals. The problem is you. That being said, let's look at this. P84. It's the flagship product for Love Biome. Numbers are important to me because they speak volumes, they talk truth. And if you get to understand how numbers work, it gives you an understanding of what you're dealing with. Remember I said to you earlier that if you don't understand the question, it's very difficult to give the correct answer. Now, how can 1 plus 2 equal 84? Because we know there's a plus sign there. And we know 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Well, why is that the case? Well, there's only 9 numbers. So we know that 1 plus 2 must equal 3. So how does it equal 84? Well, in the phytopower world, in the love biome world, we are dealing with numbers that are exponential. We spoke about cancer earlier. We spoke about the rogue equation because that multiplies. That doesn't just add up linearly, 1, 2, 3, 4. It actually multiplies. Well, this is even better than multiplication because this is raising to the power. They call it surds in mathematics. What am I saying? This is what I'm saying. Well, the 1 and the 2 have to be interpreted exponentially. What does that mean, Pi? Well, if we take the number 2 and we raise it to the power of 6, that will give us 64. Well, what do you mean raise it to the power of 6? Well, it simply means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. If you do that sum, it will give you 64. Well, some people will say, well, why don't you raise it to the power? Why have you raised it to the power of 6 and not the power of 7? Well, if you raise it to the power of 7, it will give you 128. We're referring to 84 ingredients. So if we know that 2 to the power of 6, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, not 2 times 6, but what I've just said, that's going to give us 64. Now, we can apply some maths because we have a number of 84. If we take away 64 from 84, that will leave us with 20. Now, 20 will be the value of phyto 1, and 64 is phyto 2. So now when you put them together, 1 and 2, it equals 264. That's powerful. That is powerful. But here's the caveat. Here is the caveat. We know fundamentally there are only 9 numbers. So any number you see, a double number, a treble number, or a quadruple number, etc., is a compound number. It is a combination of a number of the fundamental numbers 1 to 9. And in this case, we have 84. So one of my slides mentions about the root. So because unless you get to the root, you don't understand what you're dealing with. So let's get to the root of that 84. 8 plus 4 will give us 12. 8 plus 4 will give us 12. That's all good and well. But 12 is a compound number. Why? Because there are only 9 numbers. And we need to get to the root. So 12. 1 plus 2 will give us 3. Can you see how this sum has gone full circle? I spoke about pi earlier, and pi deals with circles. Pi deals with truth. Can you see how 1 plus 2 in the fundamental world, in our world, is equal to 3, but in the phytopower world, in the exponential world, it gives us 84. And that is what this product is based on. It's based on those numbers, and the product aligns not only with the compound number, but the fundamental number. That means a lot of it wasn't just thrown together, because truth does not appear when you throw things together. And that's what we call precision. And that's what we call P84. And that was the maths behind it. Alrighty. So to this point, I've shared with you, I've taken you on a journey, and I've shared with you quite a bit. I've shared, you've seen the terrain, so to speak, how our gut lies. We've looked at the root, and you understand the system. So the question is, how do you want to engage with this intelligence? Because it is intelligence and it's about engaging with it, And if you've understood what I've shared with you thus far, then hopefully I would have piqued your interest. And that simply means that you align with what I've shared. And if you align with what I've shared, you are aligning with truth because it's underpinned by mathematics. And I'm always open to hear from anybody, to hear from anybody who finds any chinks and what have you. This is why I put numbers into a presentation. I see brother Sai's hand raised, and um, if you just allow me I've just got two more slides, and then I'll let you chime in, my brother. I just want to be clear here that talk is very, very cheap. It is very, very cheap. And we often hear people say things not only with Love Biome, but with other things. And they give an amazing speech and whatever else and whatever else and whatever else. And by you spin around, it's something else. Because talk has to be interpreted, and it can be misconstrued. But numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie. That being said, how do you want to engage with this intelligence? Well, we have two doors. Two doors. We have door one, the conscious customer. You're ready to support your gut. So if you've heard enough whereby you want to support your gut, you want to support your mind, you want to support your mission because you understand who you are. You want access to products designed with data and soul and mathematics. You can start your journey now and even ask, what's the best customer price available for me today? This is where I started. And who invited me? I went back to them to say, well, I'm interested in this. How does it work? Well, whoever sent you here today, you need to go back to them and ask them, how does this all hang together? What will I pay? What's the benefits of being a customer? Because here's the thing. Even in healing, mathematics matters because your health is not mystical. I keep saying this. Not only that, you pay for your food, right? You pay for your fatigue, right? You pay for feeling flat, right? But what if you redirected that cost into coherence, into balancing your gut microbiome? See, the numbers only start to work when you choose to. That's why I'm saying talk is very cheap. It's the numbers, it's the action behind the talk. And then we have door number two. This is the legacy builder and one-time membership. And so for a one-time membership, whether you're in the UK, which is £20, or across the pond, which is $25, you open a lifetime gate. What's that lifetime gate? Well, you gain access to all of the Love Biome products.
Everybody on the call.
At
The
can you put yourself on mute, please? You put at a membership rate. But more than that, you unlock the option to build. And it is an option. It's not forced. You have the option to build a business rooted in truth. Because if you believe what I've shared with you today, after a while, you won't believe. You will know. And why do I say you won't believe? I share this statement with many parents and students when I'm lecturing in maths. And I say to my students that if you are studying maths, you're not supposed to think. And they look at me as if I have two heads. And they say, why? Why, Pi? Why are we not supposed to think? And I'm going to tell you why. Because if I have shared with you the process of how to answer a question, then you don't have to think. All you have to do is remember. All you have to do is remember. If I teach you your times tables, you don't have to think. You just have to remember. And anywhere where truth is, you don't have to think. You don't have to believe. You don't believe that 2 plus 2 is 4, do you? Or do you know that 2 plus 2 is 4? And this is my point. Some people get a little bit agitated when I say this, but it's the truth. And truth has a way of treading on people's corns sometimes, and I get that because it's tread on mine a few times. But in saying that, as I mentioned, so if you know, and the only way you're going to know is by taking the product, because until you take it, you're just leaning on somebody else's understanding. That's why you believe. But once you know, then you're in a position and you have an option whether you want to build a business rooted in truth, a community shaped by purpose, a path to freedom, financial, geographical, and energetic. So if you're willing to plant the seed and tend the ground, the harvest is real because there are many within the Love Biome uh, organization that have tread that path. And there are many of us, like myself, who are on that path. We haven't got there yet, but we're getting there. Now, there's no hype here. It's just systems that work when you work them. Because what is health without freedom? And what is freedom without the power to share? So there's no pressure, just precision. Two doors, one alignment, and the numbers only add up if they align with you. So you get two options. So the choice is yours. Now, I say that to say, this is a slide, and it really represents the business of symptoms versus the power of solutions. What do I mean by this? Well, let's just take a little look at what's on here. We have digestive health market, which is worth about $72 billion. The weight release industry is probably about another $21 billion. The energy market, $60 billion. If you add sleep to the mix, now we're at $135 billion. Forget all of that. Include hydration, immune booster, antidepressant, and fat burner. You're looking at what? $75 billion cocktail of management, not cure, just management. And projection shows that by 2040, this ecosystem of not quite solutions will be worth over $1 trillion. This is projection. Who are making these projections? Well, the same people who underpin Big Pharma. How can they make these, we call it assumptions? They're not assumptions, it's based on their numbers, their facts. But here's the caveat, family. If these numbers are going up, then there's no cure. There's not people coming off of this list. Because if we're solving the problem, wouldn't the numbers be going down? So this isn't wellness, it's dependency, family. A business built on symptom suppression, not symptom transformation. But here's where you step in. P84 is not a patch. It's a pattern rewriter. You take it, it works, you feel better, sharper, lighter, calmer. Now imagine sharing that and sharing it authentically. Not selling, just telling the truth about your experience. And each time someone else says, I want that too, you can earn. Not from manipulation, not from pushing pills, but from honest resonance. Now, this is what happens when health becomes personal and truth becomes your business. Not rhetoric, truth. That being said, what would it mean to earn 1,000 a month? To breathe easier, yeah? To cover bills and to give yourself space. It's all about the numbers, family. What would it mean to earn 5,000 a month? To pay off debts, travel when you choose, and say yes more often. And what if you were earning 10,000 a month? Not by selling, but simply inviting people into the same insight, the same experience, the same remembering that changed you. No hype, no hustle, just sharing what works. Because when the truth helps, people talk. And when people talk, networks form. And when networks form around real results, not gimmicks, you don't build a team, you build a movement. We live in a world where people sell anything. But imagine building a business around something you'd shared even if you weren't paid, because it saved your focus, your gut, and your energy, as well as your joy. So, my final words. I know you've been sold to before, and this isn't that. This is a door back to the gut, back to balance, a door to better health, a clearer mind, and yes, maybe even a better bank balance. Not because you played the game, but because you chose to tell the truth. And now the question becomes, will you walk through that door or wait for someone else to open it? Either way, you now know. And there's no forgetting that. Because this is Love Biome, where science meets soul, and it's the only thing we manage. The only thing that we really manage is the return to coherence, to balance. And on that note, I'm going to stop right there. Well, I get carried away sometimes. I just get carried away and just go off in my zone and do what I do. So, hey, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Hey, so yes, I suppose before here's a point where this is a moment to speak, to ask, to wonder, to share a thought, a testimony, a feeling in your body, similar to what a friend of mine, she had a feeling earlier, and the doctor told her, it's uh something she's eaten or something like that, without any kind of investigation, family, I just want you to know there's no script here. It's just resonance. It's just resonant. So if something's knocking inside you, don't wait for permission. You are the wisdom too. This is a two-way street. So let's kind of like open the floor and feel free to chime in. And we have brother Sai here in the house. He's raised his hand. Go ahead, King.
Man, listen, brother. Golly, Hey, brother Pie, man, I tell you, like Dr. Tamia always says, man, you're getting gooder and gooder. I'm telling you, man.
I didn't even know
This,
that word
this,
existed until you guys mentioned it.
we've coined it. We've coined it. We've coined the word. You're getting gooder and good. I'm telling you, man. This thing, it makes so much sense. And I just want to say to all the folks that I called and I text that came on this call this morning, I know this thing is worth listening to. And I hope you guys are not upset with me. This early rising here in North America, that I got some folks up. I got some people on this call to listen to you, my brother, because as you say, health is not mystical. It's measurable. All right, it's measurable. And I'm telling you, my brother, you In terms of cricket, when we say, that's my sport, you hit it out the stadium. They say, we used to say a six or a maximum, they say now, right? This presentation was over the top. I'm telling you, my brother, I appreciate it so much. And you have enlightened so many people. And again, I just want to thank those that adhered to my calling and came on the call to listen to this amazing presentation. When you put the math to this presentation, it takes you to a different realm of understanding of how the love biome system really connects with folk and how it really works. So thank you again. Thank you so much, brother. And we're going to keep sharing. We're going to keep sharing this and keep this momentum going. I give it back to you, Brother Pi. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you, King. I really appreciate your sentiments. I mean, what I do, because as a maths person, what I do, I'm just passionate about numbers because numbers reveals truth. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you are. It's all about numbers. Without the numbers, we would not be here. And so it's really important we understand when a child is born, and if there's certain things missing and the numbers don't add up, then there's usually some slight defect. So the numbers have to add up in whatever way. And I mentioned the circle. Well, the womb is the original circle. That's where the original math started. But that's another session. That's another session. But yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, King. Alrighty. Um, okay, is there anybody who would like to
Yes.
say anything? Please go ahead. If
In
you
other
raise your
words, life is like mathematics.
sorry, who was that? Sorry, forgive me.
Okay, I'll go after this young man. Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir. Who was it?
Who is
No,
next?
what I'm saying,
Dennis.
I
That's
am Dennis
Pastor
Williamson.
Pastor Dennis out of Jamaica. Thank you so much, Pastor Dennis, for coming on. Amen.
Okay.
Bless you, my friend. No, I'm just saying what I listen to when you speak about math. I'm saying the thought came to my head. Then life is like mathematics.
Okay. Well, without mathematics, there wouldn't be any life, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll say something now since that was said.
Mm,
That's interesting. Without mathematics, there would be no life.
there wouldn't.
And I guess that's why when the ark was being built, God told Noah to make sure there was two of everything, and that was to do with maths. But I'm not going down that road.
You're already
Um,
down there. You're already down there.
I know, I know. What I love about your presentation is because I always like to look deeper into things
Mm,
than just surface level.
mm,
Because when you go deeper, you understand a little bit more.
mm.
And I guess for years I've worked around issues around mental health or mental. Yes, so there's mental health and there's mental illness. So the two are not the same. They're near, and sometimes people get it. So mental illness. I mean, what numbers come together? What is it that's out of balance there? Is it still the gut? If they treat the gut instead of the mind, are we saying then that people with mental ill health will start to have a turnaround? What do you think, Pi?
Um, well, you ask an amazing question, and I can only deal with uh, actual facts. And the actual facts are that the brain functions off of signals. It doesn't function off of what somebody says. It only moves off of signals. And those signals, they don't come from your hand, they don't come from your feet, they come from your gut. And your gut, the signals from there travel through the vagus nerve. So it's a bit like a filter, an interpreter, so to speak. So because the language of the gut is not the same as the language of the brain. So what happens in the gut, that is filtered through the vagus nerve, and then those signals move on to the brain, and then the brain operates off of signals. So that being said, you mentioned about mental health and mental illness. And I don't want to kind of upset anybody, but I deal with maths. And maths, there's no ambiguity when you deal with maths. Those titles is all about money. It's all about money. Because whatever label you're able to put on somebody, all of a sudden, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's all about money. So the titles, I don't fully understand the titles, because what do they actually mean? What's the difference between one and the other? Mental health, mental illness. What is the difference? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But what I do know is that many of these titles are generated all because of the love of money. But the point that I just kind of wanted to just jump on very quickly, when the pastor mentioned about numbers and life. If you use mathematics in that realm, right? All of those of us who are religiously or spiritually led, we are led by who? The one. The one. Whatever name you want to give it, I cut across that and I deal with the numbers. The one. And that shows respect to whatever anybody believes in or aligns to. Not one, but the one, not two, not three. You give thanks or praise, or you send your whatever request to the one. And so you have to understand, what is the one? Well, and it's the one is different to everybody. But in mathematics, the one is the one that creates, everything comes from one. The one is a number that is very, very selfish. Why? Because it doesn't have to share. It doesn't have to divide. It's all about one. When we split the mirror in his image, we now have two. That is where division comes into play. That is where sharing comes into play. Maths can explain all of this, and it keeps it very tangible, not mystical. Because the truth, just like health, is not mystical. It's measurable. So I hope that kind of answers the question. Sorry, Sister Val, I hope I didn't deviate slightly, but I was trying to.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, that's good. That's
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Well done again. Yeah, as we say, you've hit the ballpark right out of Wembley, right out of Lords, right out of the Oval. The ball is gone.
Well, I respect that, because I know you're a very hard taskmaster. So the fact you've said that, I'm truly humbled. Truly
Okay,
humbled.
I'm blessed.
Yes.
Can I just make a comment? I do have my hands up. It's Paulette.
All right, go ahead.
Val, I think mental health, as you were saying about the labels pie,
Yes.
so right. On a very simplistic level, mental health is when it's working okay, it's not broken. You're okay mentally. Mental illness is when you need to fix it. Something's gone awry. So I think on a very simple level, that is the definition. And in fixing it, that's where all the money is made. So you're quite right about that. Yeah. And I just wanted to thank you also for an excellent presentation. Excellent. Thank you so much. I have made so many notes. It's unbelievable. Not, but yes, thank you.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
Thank
Very,
you.
very welcome.
It's noteworthy. It really is noteworthy. I'm
You,
telling you, I'm telling
you
Sir,
bet, and it's not even A4 papers, you know, it's big.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, man.
you have
Hey, go ahead.
yes, sir. You have commands my attention this morning. I
And
am
you,
yeah,
and
I'm busy getting ready to go to church,
Wow.
and all of a sudden I realize that I have to slow down a lot of the busyness, a lot of what I'm doing to really get some knowledge, deeper knowledge and understanding from you this morning. You said something about we're not listening, but we are just performing. When you said that, I mean, I was outside and I have to run back inside the house and get my notebook and just write down, read because that hits me hard. We're not listening, but we're performing. We're
Wow.
performing, but we're not listening. That was so powerful. And I am very, very convinced this morning, not only this morning, but long ago, because my wife died from cancer. And we were, both of us, especially her, she was a high performing person, highly performing person, hard work. But the truth, now I understand and realize, because cancer could have been defeated. I am convinced of that she didn't have to die from cancer. But the truth is, we were not listening, we were just performing. So, really, really thank you for this word this morning. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, my brother. I'm truly humbled by your sentiments. Thank you so much. Wow. Brother Sai, were you going to say something?
well, you know, I I tell you, man. Hey, Pastor Dennis, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I
sir.
really,
Yes, sir.
and when I looked as I was sharing this information earlier, I saw you there, and I said, man, I got to get him here because he is going to really appreciate this. So I didn't even think long enough. I just clicked on it and I sent it to you right away. Because
Yeah.
I get it. I so appreciate the fact that you are appreciating what you're hearing and getting it right. So because you left an indelible mark on us, many of us, 2 days ago, right? So again, I'm thankful. I'm really thankful. Amen. So
Thank you, man.
folks, if you want to share, again, this is the platform. Don't be sticking. Here's the time to literally share. If you have something on your mind and you got something out of this, express the sentiments in words.
I think we have Sister Doral's iPhone. Go ahead.
The amazing one.
Brother Pie, Grand Rising,
Grand
everyone.
Rising.
It's
Grand
the
Rising.
side, Uh, y- I lay here and I said, um, you every single time you just blow us away. The pastor said this morning he was going to church. He said that you said we're not listening. And it's so true. People are moving so fast that they're not listening. And when I look at your call in the morning, I see 22 people here. This call should hit 1,000 every single morning. I This is food for thought. I I am I am just blown away, every single time. And people need to people need to slow down and really listen. Yeah. I'm not saying people shouldn't go to church, but we have been doing things for ages and centuries, but we're doing the same thing over and over. What is insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Thank you so much, Mr. Kai. You are amazing.
Is this Winsome, Sister Winsome? Sister
Yeah.
Winsome, you got your hand raised? Go ahead.
Hello, Professor. Hi, because that's all. Literally it's the first time I've actually sort of listened to a full lecture. You are just so phenomenal, really. And the person that I just know that 1 and 1 equals 2. And you've just demonstrated, you make a person who doesn't really like mathematics. A lot of people are afraid of mathematics for reasons. So I just know 1 and 1, just really equal 2. And you make a person fall in love with maths. Here it is that you use your mathematical prowess to expound on the validity of the products. 1 + 2 = 84, but it's how you do it. And so you open the simpler mind and broke down the products in such simplistic way that you make anyone fall in love with maths. Even at this age, I'm learning 1 and 1 is 2. So, sir, I just want to commend you this morning. I thoroughly enjoyed your program. You talked about 2 to the 6th power. You are just incredible. And I just really want to say how much I've enjoyed just listening to you. And this is just the beginning of great things for all those who really doesn't sort of understand maths and see, and it's just how you use the mathematics to introduce. So it shows that the products are so phenomenal that you can use any platform that you've mastered to bring to the fore and to further expound on the greatness of P84. What a wonderful company we have, that it doesn't, if a person likes medical, you can use medical, you can use every and anything. But for you to take maths, that is really problematic to people like myself, a person like myself, and just really caused me to love maths in just one lecture. I want to say to you, sir, well done. I've enjoyed it, and I look forward to your further lectures, really. Thank you so very much.
Wow, wow, wow. Sister Winsome, I'm humbled by the way you eloquently just laid that out. And I just want to remind everybody on the platform that the reason why one resonates with this is because we're all from it. Like when sometimes we say, oh, we're not good at maths. But when you really think about that, who told you you wasn't good at maths? You only believe you're not good at maths because of who taught you the maths. Really, because maths has never done you anything. And without maths, you wouldn't be here. You just, I learned in my earlier life that it's really important to bring knowledge, whatever knowledge it is, to the level of the listener. And as Sister Laurie mentioned right at the outset, I'm not here to showcase what I know and what I don't know and what have you. I'm here because we're all fractions. There's 22 of us on this platform at the moment, and every one of us is a fraction. And what's a fraction? Well, you have a top number, which is the numerator, and you have the bottom number, which is the denominator. Now, why can all of us come on here? We're all fractions and we all come together. Well, in maths, it teaches you can only come together as a fraction when you have something in common. It's the only time you can bring fractions together. And we have something in common. Not only love biome, but the truth.
The truth.
Because falsehood created nothing. The truth creates everything. So the reason why you're finding what one is saying, it connects because it's relating to what's already inside you. It's just that you may have forgotten it, you suppressed it, subdued it. So when I say it, I'm just saying it in a different way that makes it more tangible. But you know, and I just want to say to all the women on this platform, in case you didn't know, that you are all the original mathematicians.
Of course, 9 months.
The original, the original mathematicians
Mhm.
before
nine
even us
months.
men. But again, that's for another show. That's for a completely different show. But yeah, and once we realign with the maths, you find that a lot of things, even many of the problems that we experience in life, we're able to use the maths to try and get a solution. So thank you, Sister Winsome, for
Hey,
the way you dropped that. It's beautiful.
hey, brother Pi. I just want to say this. I just want to remind all the men that we're gonna be doing this again this afternoon with Brother Pi. All the men only call. Brother Pi, you want to share that time frame?
Sure. We do a men only session, and that's usually 7 p.m. UK time. Across the pond, it's about 2 p.m. And it's a sealed unit for us men where we can come on the platform. It's the same link, and the aim is just to bear the S on our chest. Because I remember
Same link. What time that would be?
Two
it's
o'clock, Pastor. 2 o'clock p.m. Well, is Jamaica still on the same time with us? I think it's
Oh,
6.
I
It'll
am
be 1 o'clock.
7:38 now. I am 7:38 now.
Right. So
it's
it'll be at 1. It'll be at 1 o'clock your time.
Fine.
it's it yeah, it's 7 p.m. UK time. That's what I can tell you. And the aim of this meeting is we because you come on a platform like this, which is amazing, but I found that when I first started out, there was no way that I was going to share what I was going through with all these women on the platform. I just wasn't going to do it. There's no way. And for us men, we think differently. You know, most of the men here are generally brought here by some woman because women are the forethinkers. We as men, we only jump on, so I only jumped on this because of illness. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And most of the men, that is usually the case because we spend a lot of time burying our head in the sand. So the Sunday evening session is just purely for the men, so that we can bear the S on our chest and we can talk about what's actually going on and look at solutions. Because a lot of the men, they don't really like, you know, the the a lot of the talk. They will say they've got this and they want to know what the problem is and things like that and how to solve it and things like that. They want to cut straight to the chase. So we've just created an environment where we can do all of that. And sometimes we do show a few presentation slides and statistics and that sort of thing. Yeah,
Thank you so much. And
you're
I just
welcome.
want to say to everybody that I invited here on this Grand Rising to this platform, put it on your calendar.
Thank you for
Every
your invitation, sir.
Yes, every Sunday.
You,
Every
you make my
Sunday.
you you make my day.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Thank you. I'm being gracious. Thank you for saying that. But I want you guys to know that every Sunday, Brother Pi and brother and Sister Lori is here at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe it will be 6 a.m. in Jamaica, Pastor Dennis. And for you
Yes,
guys
sir.
to bring more folk every Sunday at 6 and 7, depending on where you are in the world. And then again for the men at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 1 o'clock in Jamaica on Jamaica timeline. All right, every Sunday we do this with Brother Pi. Again, and you know, again, guys, make sure just try and bring some folk with you. In the Grand Rising, bring both sexes, and then again in the midday, the men. Amen. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much for allowing
Thank
me
you.
to
Thank you.
share because the truth, yes, Sister Winsome, the truth never mixes because the math itself explains the fact that it's not a gimmick, like Brother Pi said earlier. It's not a gimmick. The math tells us that it's the truth. It's simplistic when you do it in math terms because the math is always mathing to explain the truth and to let us know that it's not a gimmick. But like he said, Brother Pi said earlier, there are a lot of people out there with a lot of different things who, that they are sharing and selling. But when you take the Love Biome company and you take the 1+2 and you share what's in the Phyto 1, the ingredients, and you add it up, and what's in the Phyto 2, it really maths. The math is mathsing for us to be whole, not a fraction, but us for our body to be one body as a whole. And it helps fix itself. All right, I give it back to you, Brother Pi. Thank you so much.
I've learned a couple of
I want
words
to say
from you
this before
today.
I go.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have to. It was. I mean, very, very informative, very enlightening, and I really, really want to say thanks very much. And false prophet has become multimillionaires because people refuse to listen to truth. We have a lot of false prophets and they are becoming very rich because people, with all the lies and deceptions about miracles, instead of helping people to change their diet and all that kind of stuff, are becoming very, very rich because people refuse to listen. And that word has really grabbed me in a different light this morning, a different way. Listen, listen, listen with your heart. Listen. It is only when we really listen, we will understand and know truth, and truth becomes now life and a reality to us and a blessing. Thank you again, sir. God bless.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, Brother Pi, you have delivered so many gems in your presentation this morning. This one, bring knowledge to the level of the listener. That is just so important when we introduce, when we share Love Biome with people. That is a gem. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I've learned two words today from Sai, Gudera and Matsin. Those two, I've made a note of those. I'm gonna. So yeah, I don't know. Did Sister Val raise her hand again? I can see her hand up. I'm not sure if it was from before. Not too sure.
No, that was from before.
No worries.
But just to say, yeah, well done again. I love the way you deliver. You deliver in such a humble way, and it's amazing. It's so good to see a brother from another mother based here in London, UK.
Yeah.
Like the maths. Now, since I've met you, which is about in 6 months, in the last 6 months or so, my head has been like twirling around because I like to connect people with resources. I like to connect, and there's so much things I'm thinking about for you to come and deliver some of that knowledge elsewhere, but it will come. It's coming. It's coming. So thank you again. Yes,
You're
we all
welcome. You're
need
very
you.
welcome.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Wow. Hey, Sister Laurie, how are you doing? Hey.
I'm doing good. I'm just back and enjoying the show. Keeping quiet. I'm listening.
Yeah, I hear you.
Again, like Paulette said, I'm taking notes and getting all the gems. And yeah, again, I show up to support you, but also I get a breath of knowledge every time we do this. We do it again on Thursday nights at 5 also.
Oh, yes.
You know, Sister Laurie, I was just going to mention that to all those who are not, you go ahead and hey, thank you for sharing it again, because it slips sometimes, that Thursday evening call. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we go a little bit deeper than we do here. And again, there is so many different presentations within Love Biome, different concepts, like Pi said, go medical, go math. This one today had my brain triggered. So I truly was listening. So again, thank you, everybody. Bring somebody with you next time. Invite. So thank you, Brother Sai, for getting the numbers up, getting your people here, and go back to the person that invited you, get on the product and help us share this mission.
Beautiful.
Yes, and those who are standing on the sidelines, who've been standing there and taking the processed medication for their ailment, if you're still on the sidelines and you're not getting in the game, woe unto you. Come on now. The math is medicine. Get in the game so you can hit a 6 or a maximum, just like Brother Pie. You got to get in the game. You cannot stay on the sideline. You got to get in the game and get this food, not just a supplement. It's food for the temper, for the soul, for the gut microbiome. We can't keep getting getting these presentations and standing on the sidelines and not getting involved. You know, we got to get involved so we can share this information with everybody that we know, because everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's only when we realize that our health is not mystical but mathematical. It's only then does the mind shift. Until we come off of that train of thought, um, we're always going to be feeding big pharma. And I'm not saying that they are bad, good, or indifferent, but what I am saying is there should be a root cause diagnosis, not system orientated, because systems is only going to give you part of the equation and you're trying to solve the whole sum. You can't do that with part of the equation. That's why you got to go to the root.
And you know, Brother Pie, you know, as you said that, it reminded me of what I wanted to say. Systems. We are so inundated with systems. Like Pastor Dennis said, we 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 are we are we're not listening. We just keep performing. We're performing in these systems, and like amazing D said earlier, yeah, we go to church. Yeah, we need the word of God. We need the word of God. But people are involved in systems in that genre of of you know praising God, but we get involved so inundated, and we're not listening. We're just performing. So in other words, every Sunday it's just innate in us that yes, I have to be in the church on this particular time at this, and we just go. We just going. But even though our body is telling us there are signals, red flags that we need to change what we've been doing. And I say this to say that I shared this with some folks, and they go, "I'm getting ready to." I get it. I'm getting ready to go to church, but your diabetes is still there, and you're still taking the metformin that you've been taking, that systematic metformin that you've been taking for 10, 12, 15, in some cases 30 years. It's still there, and you keep taking it, and it's allowing you to just get along, not change anything in your microbiome. And so we need to adhere to the fact that Pastor Dennis reminded us what Pi said. you know, we're not listening, we're performing. Amen.
Wow. Sister Doral, you got your hands?
Yes, I just want to chime in on something that Sai said a while ago about system. I have a friend in the hospital, and Brother Pai, you spoke about Big Pharma. I have a friend in the hospital, and he went to the hospital for one thing, and they are trying to treat him for another thing. And he's telling them that I know my body. And the nurse said to him, you know, we have a system here. And he's saying to them, what is she said, I have to listen to the doctor and I have to give you this amount of dosage. And he's saying to them, he's saying to the young lady, how long have you been a nurse? And she said, 3 years. And he said to her, well, listen, I have been a diabetic for over 30 years. And the system is what got me here. Because hear what she's saying to him now. I have to give you this portion or else I will lose my job. So he said to her,
Wow.
so you're going to give me a dosage and kill me because of a system, because of what your doctor told you. Well, I know my body. And I tell you, this man is saying to me, thank you so much for knowing you. Because when he spoke to them, and when he goes down, because now he knows. He used to just go in and just did what they said. They overdosed this man a couple of years ago because of the same system. The lady said to him, I have to follow what the doctor said. The system. We are going like we are followers like sheep with our head cut off. Just understand when you for those of you who drive, there's an empty lane over here and you're driving along. And what happened? You would not come out of that empty the traffic and say, what, let me see what's happening over here. You would stay in that long line. The system, it's just written all over. I am not saying people shouldn't go to church, but there is a big, big problem. As I said, the body is telling you one thing, but you're just going, how long have you been suffering from all these ailments? And because of a system,
Hello.
we are like sheep gone astray. People need to wake up, as I always said. They are not listening. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Well, sister, you make profound points, and both your point and Brother Sai's point sit in the same basket. And I'm going to apply the maths to that. I spoke about fractions earlier. You have to understand something, that when somebody doesn't understand their fraction, they just want to be, because a fraction is part of something. Hence the reason why you always want to be in a congregation, be with others. But here's the problem. A fraction, they all have different denominators. And unless there is a common
Denominator. Hello. Come on.
listen,
Hello. Come on.
you see, and many of them don't know their denominator. So
Exactly.
they're just attaching because they need to be part of something. Not the right thing, but something. And what they fail to understand is that when they do that, you know what happens? They become an improper fraction.
Mm-hmm.
That's where
Oh,
sickness takes place. They
Mm-hmm.
become an improper fraction. You understand? Because the numbers no longer.
Guys, note yourself.
The numbers no longer add up, and that's what you find. So even though they're going to church, we use church as an example, but then they're still wolfing down the medication, and you see, because their denominator is not aligned. Because if it was aligned, they wouldn't be doing that. They, like you
Thank
said, they're
you.
just following. They're just doing what a fraction generally wants to do. It wants to become. It wants to be part of a whole. And so it's connecting, but it's because you don't know who you are, you're just connecting with anything. That's the issue.
Hey, brother
And Brother
Pie.
Pi,
Hey,
hold on,
listen.
that's right. Hold on, Brother Pi, listen. The same Bible, that same Bible is saying, where two or three are gathered, I am in the midst of bless. And my people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Hey, hold on. Hold on. Let's add this to it. Listen, hey, brother Pie, that improper fraction that you just talked about. Come on, listen. Guys, listen to this. That improper fraction is called dysbiosis.
Hey.
Hear what
Exactly.
we're talking about. Come on now. Listen, here where you have the bad bacteria overwhelms the good bacteria.
Bacteria,
You have
yes.
more bad bacteria on top of the good bacteria, and that improper fraction is called dysbiosis. Come on now,
Okay.
people.
Come
Come
on.
on.
Hello.
Come on.
I,
What?
I try to
That
be
is
quiet and
amazing, brother
listen.
Pie. Amazing.
This is the power of mathematics, you see.
Wow.
It's the universal language. It's the only language that
Mm-hmm.
everybody understands.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's important that we use that language because, as I mentioned before, many of us could we could be in a meeting somewhere and we hear whatever we hear and we have to go away and we write a report. You're going to get 10 different reports, but we listen
Mm-hmm.
to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So this is why you have to put the numbers because the numbers is the essence, what gives it the truth. That's why it's important too. And it also makes things tangible. Because if I say to you right now, there are 16 of us on this platform, and if one in four, when there are a group of four, one in four, there's usually generally a serious illness. That means there's approximately four serious illnesses on this platform. And it's not me saying that, it's mathematics. Let's do the maths. And then we can
Mm-hmm.
drill down into specific illnesses. And then I could give you the numbers behind those. But it's not about the doom and gloom. The aim for me is really about making it tangible so people wake up and they listen. Because when you just talk, sometimes it goes over people's head. But when people now understand that they are part of the equation, all of a sudden now it piques their interest because you put numbers there. That's what this is about. Here you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So, there you have it.
There we have it. Wow. I'm kind of mindful of time. It's 2 o'clock now, family. Here in the UK it is. I don't know what time it is where you are. Not
9 o'clock,
sure.
8 o'clock in Jamaica.
Wow.
So I learned
Wow.
today.
Okay.
Ni-
It's 9 o'clock in Canada. That's the reason
Nine
why I don't
o'clock
want to.
in
Yeah.
9 o'clock in Florida.
That's why I
Yeah.
don't. Hi, your call. We need a different forum for your call because I. That's why sometimes I keep quiet because if I start talking, I with you I cannot stop. You sometimes I'm here and I want to say something. And I'm like I don't want to start it. Oh my God, food for thoughts. This is powerful, but people
I
really need
love
to wake up.
But you must,
I
my
learned
sister,
something here.
you must speak because if you apply maths to wisdom, it's no different than a dual carriageway. Knowledge doesn't flow one way, it flows both ways. So
Yes.
you must have to talk. Otherwise, that wisdom becomes very stagnant, like
Mm,
still water, which becomes
yes.
poisonous. So it's important that you do,
As
because I learned from you as well.
as brother side say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Hello. Hello. Come on now. Wow.
There you go.
Dysbiosis is an improper fraction. That is amazing. I love it. I love it. I love
Love it. Don't use that.
it. Yes,
Feel
yes,
free.
this is just simply amazing. This call needs to be expanded. My goodness. We need, you know what? Gotta put it on the calendar every day, every Sunday, guys. We gotta get more people here to understand the math. The math does
Oh yeah.
not lie. The numbers is the truth. Hello.
Okay,
We
Wow.
beautiful.
need your
All
help.
right.
There you go.
You got it. You got it, Lori. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
We're
E-
all
e- e-
working on it.
yeah,
All
everybody
of
on
us.
the platform, if you've heard something that you believe is tangible or you know is true, then bring somebody along with you the next time. And we're here on Thursday. We take a deeper dive on a Thursday. And those are for the ones who can't make it, I don't know, on a Sunday for whatever reason. We have a 10 p.m. session 10 p.m. UK time on a Thursday. So.
But
Can
brother,
they use,
brother Pete,
sorry,
you know some.
sorry, Amazing D, sorry. Can they use the same link?
Yeah, use the same link.
Okay.
Yeah. We try to keep it simple here on this platform.
Yeah, brother Pete, you know something? You can take the horse to the water, but you cannot force them to drink it. I know I sent men on your call, and they came because other men came and can tell me, yeah, they said Amazing D sent them. But you think they came back? And there is just so much men. There's so much people that I sent to this call. I remember one guy came here earlier in around March, and he was so well. And I know the wife told me that he loved numbers. He likes numbers. I said, well, so he came and he was asking, and I didn't know it was me who invited him because he didn't use his name. So then I said, wow. And you think this guy came back, and this is a person that took the vaccine and messed up with the vaccine. He said, so wow, I'm coming back. He has not come back. But I keep sharing. I keep sharing. He's coming back.
And then and the maths will also tell you, you see, change only takes place when the pain is severe enough. The pain is not severe enough.
Yep.
The pain is not severe enough for men. You see, men, we've got to be knocking on death's door.
The
Right?
11th hour. The 11th hour.
Thank you very much. Right?
Yeah.
And at the 11th hour, what they're looking for, us as men, what we're looking for is a one fix. That's just going to do that and change everything. That's how we are conditioned. And men do not like other men telling them what to do. You see, because when you come into the men's only meeting, there's a different type of maths being applied there. And that maths is ego. And ego is equal to 1 over knowledge. That's the maths. So you have to get over that equation first and foremost. Because when they come on, it's really all about, they don't really want to share. And when others share, they may share a tidbit, but they've come with a mindset that they don't want to be told, or they don't. And it's not that they're being told, we're just sharing. But because the gut is in an imbalanced state, they take that information as they're being told, and because they find it difficult to rebuke any of the information, the best way for them is to not turn up, because they feel like they, as a man, you're supposed to be a leader. You ain't supposed to be a follower. And if you're turning up, to them it seems as you are following, but you're not following.
Wow.
And see, this is the maths. So I understand that, but all I can tell them is that I'm a permanent fixture. I'm here every Thursday evening, Sunday evening, whether they want to come or not. Because I remember when I first went on, I was looking in the mirror. I was doing the show to myself. But because I love what I do and I love the maths, I always do it. So I'll always be there. And when they're ready, I'll be there. So you're doing the right thing, sister. You're not doing anything wrong. You just need to understand what you're working with. Then once you understand that, it becomes easier.
Your gut microbiome is literally. Did you know your gut microbiome is literally?
There we go. So, do we have any more questions or any more thoughts? No? Good. All right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did. And I want to thank Laurie for her time and effort and for all she does behind the scenes. I mean, if she hadn't done the recording, we probably wouldn't have had a recording today. Is that right?
Not either.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so I want to thank you, Laurie. I really appreciate all your efforts in front of the camera and behind the scenes. And to everyone else that listening, I thank you so much for joining. And I look forward to seeing you, if not on Thursday at 10 p.m., the same time next week, Sunday at midday UK time. Peace and love to everybody. Take care.
Thank you, Pi. And remember, 6 o'clock UK time, the neurodiversity Zoom is on. which looks at autism in children, ADHD, and so on. Thank you.
Can you mention who's hosting that, please? Because I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
enough about it. Who's
Yeah, the host is Tracy, Joan, and Alicia. So 6 p.m., which is I believe 6 p.m. UK time is 1 p.m. EST, is it? Either 1 p.m. Yeah, because your one is 2 o'clock. So yeah,
right.
1 p.m. EST. All right.
Beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
You're
The
very
link will
welcome.
be in the groups.
All
Thank
righty.
you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Alrighty. Okay. All right.
Yes. Hi, look for size number there. He's looking for your recording
Sorry.
in
You
the
lost
chat.
in the chat. What's it saying? Oh, let me go in the chat. Have a great.
Well, actually, Laurie, I actually sent it to you because.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I sent it to you.
The recording, yeah, the recording goes out on my YouTube channel. Hopefully I'll get that up there, uploaded later on today sometime.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. All righty.
I got your bat line now, Si. So
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
YouTube
And
channel.
my YouTube channel is. I'm sorry.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's the Math Surgery.
You sent it to me.
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's the Math Surgery. So that's my YouTube channel. I think I've got a couple of the recordings that we've done previously, but yeah, this one will be going up there later on today.